when we have a spreadsheet with numbers in it and they have decimal places, we decide maybe we need to round those numbers up or round them down. Now there is a function within Excel that is called round.
Okay.
And it does the mathematical round. So mathematically, if you round a number, if it's above 5, it rounds up, and if it's below 5, it rounds down.
Sure.
But we also have functions called round up and round down.
Okay.
So let's look at round up, because they all work basically the same way.
And roundup's just fun to say.
Yes, it is. Let's round up. Get rid of those weeds. And we're going to get rid of the weeds called decimal places here. So in our spreadsheet here, notice we have hourly rate in column J. And we have a variety of rates here, and we have numbers after the decimal place. Let's say the company decides, hey, we're going to give everybody an increase and round up to the nearest dollar.
Okay, that sounds like a great idea.
Yeah, I mean, who's going to object to that one? Round down, they might have a problem with. Round up, not a bad thing.
Not a peep.
Now, first of all, let's just take a look at where our formulas and functions are stored. If we go up to our ribbon and go to the Formulas tab, when we're looking at round, this is actually considered a math function. Okay, so if you click on that drop down there and scroll down, you should find the round up and round down and so forth. See, there's round and round down and round up.
Okay.
So let's just choose round up. And of course, we were in the cell where we wanted our answer when we started this. And the function arguments dialog box pops up. And we know that we need to put in a number. And that would be the cell that has the hourly rate in it, which would be
J3.
Right. So let's select that.
All right.
And then what we want to do is come in here and tell it how many digits we're going to round up. Now, it's interesting here. It says, we could just do 1, and then it would get rid of it would round up the tens to, up to the tens, get rid of the ones. But we want to round up to the whole dollar. So if we use a 0 here, it will return a whole number for us.
Okay, yeah, the answer popped in there.
Popped right in there. So let's
Perfect.
click OK. And then you can just copy that formula right on down.
So it went from $25.32 up to $26.
That's right.
And then let's copy that down.
Right. And the only person in here that isn't happy is the person who made $12 an hour and $24 an hour to begin with, because they didn't get an increase.
This is true.
Poor people. I might be objecting if I was them. But anyway, that's how roundup works. And there's various reasons that you would do this. Maybe you need to do whole numbers for a sales price or something along those lines. But if you needed to round to a whole number, you can use the roundup.
Okay.
Or the round down. Now, we also have, let's go back over to the Math and Trig drop down on our Formulas tab. There are a lot of different functions in here. And I'm not going to pretend to be a trigonometry specialist. I took trig in high school. I took calculus in college. That was longer ago than I care to remember.
How long ago was that, Barbara?
Oh, it was just a couple of years. Just a couple of years. But you'll notice that we have the a cosine, there's cosine, there's sine, and so forth. So a lot of the trigonometry functions that those of you who need trigonometry functions will be familiar with are here. We're not going to try to go through those today because the majority of people who use those actually know what they're dealing with, and so just wanted to point out that they are available to you.
Okay.
Okay, let's just click back in our spreadsheet, get rid of that drop-down list. Notice over here in column N, I have a column called benefits. Most of the time within an organization, you have to work a number of hours to earn benefits. So we could create a formula that looks at the hours worked and tells us whether this person needs benefits or not. So let's say you have to work over 30 hours. All we want to do is have Excel look at the hours worked column, which is column L, and if it's over 30 hours, we want it to tell us yes.
Okay.
If it's under 30 hours, we want it to tell us no.
Okay, that'd be good.
So this is what we call an if function. You've probably heard of if-then in the past. So we're going to click here in the end column in the cell N3. If-then is a function in the logical grouping on the Formulas tab.
Okay.
And you'll notice if you click on logical, there's the if, and we're just going to select that. Pops it up. The first thing we want to do is tell it what we're testing for. So we want to know if hours worked is greater than 30.
All right.
So what would you do here?
Well, from what you've told me before, I don't want to actually put the hours in there because that may change.
Right.
So what I would want to do is select the cell that has those hours in it, and we want those to be greater than 30?
Right.
Okay, so if this cell, or whatever's in the cell, is greater than 30,
Right.
would be our test.
Exactly. Some people forget to put the rest of the test in there. They'll put the cell reference in there and they forget to put the greater than 30 or whatever it is you're trying to put in there.
Okay.
But make sure you put that in the logical test field. Now, the next block here is value if true. So if it is greater than 30, we want it to say yes.
Right.
And let's do it in all caps.
Okay.
All right? And if it is less than 30, we want it to say no. So we click OK. And you'll notice that we're not greater than 30. Now, if we'd said greater than or equal to 30, we'd have a yes here, but we said greater than 30. And let's copy that formula down.
Okay.
So now we can see that we have 3 people that will receive benefits and everyone else does not. So this is the if-then formula, and you can use this in a lot of different ways. You actually can use it to perform calculations on a cell too.
Okay.
So you can, instead of putting yes or no, you can put formulas in those places.
Yeah, we have a scenario where we have our sales reps, and if they hit their base that they have to sell, then they get a certain percentage of it. But if
Exactly.
they don't hit it, then they get a different percentage. So that would be great for that.
That's a perfect way to use that. All right, so let's go back up to our formulas and functions because there's a lot of different functions up here, some of which I pointed out the trig functions. We're not going to spend a lot of time in the trig because those who need that probably understand how that works. Let's click on the one that says more functions. And notice there's a few more things in here. Statistical is there. And I just wanted to point it out as to where it shows up. We looked at statistical functions when we looked at the introduction to functions, that module. For example, we looked at average there and we talked about the min and the max and so forth. So this is where they're stored in the formula tab.
Okay.
Just wanted to let you know that if you need to know more about that, we talked about that in the functions introduction section.
Okay.
All right, so we have one more function I want to show you. And this one's just really a neat function. I believe it's in the math category, but click on there and let's just see. It's called Roman.
Here we
Yep,
go.
there it is. But, all right, so we're going to click on that. And what Roman does is you can put in a number in our number system, our Arabic numerals, and it will return that number as a Roman number.
Oh,
Roman
that's neat.
numerals. So why don't you just pick a number and type it in there? Maybe this year.
Okay. There we go.
And then you can click OK. And there you have it in Roman numerals.
Very nice. That's great.
All right, so there's all sorts of things available to us in that formulas tab. And we just took a quick glance at the logical functions, the math and trig functions, and the statistical functions under the more functions button.
Okay. Those are great. Thanks.